Goedemorgen, liefhebbers van de hockeysport in Nederland. Het is hier 3:30 in de middag in New Delhi. Als deze kraker op het programma staat, de herhaling van de Olympische finale. Duitsland-Nederland, ja, zij zitten op de tribune. Ze hebben toeschouwers gevonden. Het is een vrij troosteloze ambiance hier in New Delhi. Maar daarover is genoeg gezegd. Deze wedstrijd gaat bepalen of dit toernooi wel of niet als succesvol kan worden beschouwd door de Nederlandse ploeg. We zullen Duitsland een keer moeten verslaan in een toernooi. Nederland wilde presteren, hebben ze vooraf gezegd. Dat hebben de Duitsers niet gezegd. Die beschouwen dit als een oefentoernooi. Ook een paar spelers thuisgelaten. Maar desondanks staat hier nog een sterke Duitse selectie. Die tot nu toe nogal wisselvallig hebben gespeeld. Dat zeker. Maar er staat hier toch wel veel op het veld. Zeker voor Nederland. Het is de koudste dag tot nu toe in dit toernooi in New Delhi. Als ik zo moet gokken is het zo 6, 7 graden. En er is een behoorlijke mist, samen met de smog. Dat zorgt ervoor dat de zon ook niet wil doorbreken. Gelukkig is er nog wel genoeg zicht op het veld voor de spelers. Anders zou zelfs dit toernooi in de problemen kunnen komen. En dit toernooi heeft al te lijden onder wat imago-schade vanwege deze aanblik. Dit is het team van Duitsland. En onder nummer 14 zit Jan-Philipp Rabente. Die kent u ongetwijfeld nog als u deze tak van sport volgt. Als de maker van de beide Olympische goals in de finale in Londen. Nederland uiteindelijk velde. En nog altijd onder leiding van Markus Weise, de hockeyprofessor die EK's wint. Die Olympische Spelen wint. Die het vorige WK in dit stadion overigens 4 jaar geleden niet won, maar tweede werd. En die dit dus min of meer beschouwt als een oefentoernooi op weg naar het WK. En dan hier Nederland met Stokman weer in de goal. Als vertrouwd, Firmin Blaak weer op de bank. Die vergelijkt tot de vorige wedstrijd hier tegen België. En voor de rest, de vertrouwde namen, u kent ze allemaal. Verga op de tribune, die overigens zelf zegt dat hij test zou kunnen spelen als het echt zou moeten nu. zo'n zware meniscusoperatie moet dat niet geweest zijn. En Floris van der Linden zit daar ook. We hebben een Koreaan als scheidsrechter, die inmiddels de Engelse taal iets beter machtig is. Hij spreekt ook wel aardig Engels. Murray Ryan, die ook heel veel tijd doorbrengt als videoscheidsrechter hier. En daar hebben we Stralkowski, tot nu toe de topscorer in dit toernooi voor Duitsland. Met 3 treffers. Goed, er staat heel veel eer op het spel, maar nog wel meer dan dat. Want de winnaar hier krijgt bijvoorbeeld 400 punten voor de wereldranglijst. En als Australië bijvoorbeeld 2 plekken boven Duitsland eindigt in dit toernooi, dan is Duitsland de eerste plek op de wereldranglijst kwijt. Zo na een seconde of 12 verdient Nederland al een strafcorner. Dat is een ideaal begin. Daar krijgt Hetsberger met zijn backhandje de bal tegen het lichaam aan van een Duitse speler, namelijk Fitz Arnold. En meteen al de kans voor Van der Weerde. De statistiekje dat u daar even zag, dat klopt niet, want Van der Weerde heeft al een keer gescoord in dit toernooi. Hij staat er op 1. Daar stond 0 uit 4. Mink van der Weerde, Mink van der Weerde. En hij gaat erin via de uitloper. Een gelukje. Maar wie maalt erop? Dit is een pikstart voor Nederland. Daar komt Korn, die daar met zijn stick naar voren loopt. De aanvoerder, Oliver Korn. En via die stick is dan uiteindelijk zijn eigen doelman Jacobi geklopt. Daaraan zie je toch ook dat dit een oefentoernooi is voor de Duitsers. Was dit een wedstrijd op het WK geweest, dan was die Korn of een andere eerste uitloper vol in het schot gelopen. Nu waagt hij niet zijn lichaam eraan, maar alleen maar zijn stick. Ideale start voor de Nederlandse ploeg.
For a team which has been a little bit hot and cold thus far in this competition. Lost to Argentina 5-2 in their opening encounter. And then well to beat Australia in a day in which Australia looked like the more dominant team, beating them by just 1 goal to nil. A goal coming from Billy Bakker. And then a thrilling 2-all draw against Belgium. Unfortunately, out of contention now for
vaak in de wedstrijd mee naar voren komt, en dan is het ook meteen gevaarlijk voor Duitsland.
Minor placements between 5 to 8.
Zoals Philip Zeller, die in de vorige generatie zo goed kon.
Today's game is all about possession, running off the ball, creating spaces.
Jolie.
The presence in the circle. Rotation play by both teams will be fantastic today on view. And using the width of the pitch. The first goal, as you say, it was using the width of the pitch and getting a penalty corner from that. So you'll find a lot of these plays in today's game.
Indeed, must be devastating for a team to concede as early as this, especially from a careless error.
Goeie schijnbeweging. Hey, daar had Vermeulen even niet op gerekend.
One of the defenders. Nevertheless,
was juist op de weg terug.
He has pushed it through for
Rabente. En keurig gedaan. Zoveel controle bij Sander de Wijn. Overtreding gemaakt op Hetsberger. Bakker. Draait weg van zijn directe tegenstander.
Immediately it's Netherlands. Billy Bakker. The winner against Australia, which in many respects
Van der Weerde
has helped them to the position
Van der Weerde versneld.
Finished third, of course, in their pool behind Australia as well as Argentina.
Ja, Paul van As, blij met een topwedstrijd.
One victory, 1 draw and 1 defeat. But Germany, that victory was a lopsided 6-1 margin against New Zealand, after which they came up with an improved performance against England, but lost out 2-1.
Tegen Argentinië in dit toernooi.
Very, very thrilling 3-all draw against the home side India. This has been very quickly taken by Billy Bakker. Was looking to work
ook een meester in om
good alert defending.
Alles wat je kritisch zou kunnen opvatten om te buigen.
The ball as well and wins a free hit for his team. The only positive, I suppose,
als er iets is, dan is het wel een goede communicator.
There's still so much time in this game. There's a lot of ups and downs yet to happen, one feels.
Well, you know, you cannot put any team away of losing a match till the fat lady sings. It's just continuously play till 70 minutes. The Germans are known for their patience.
Maar natuurlijk zijn er heel veel twijfels
towards the end of it, they always have
over de
fighting till the
kwaliteit
end.
van deze Nederlandse
The game
ploeg.
against India, they were down by a goal, and in 2 minutes to go, they get the equalizer.
En die twijfels zijn tot nu toe op dit toernooi nog niet weggenomen. Ondanks deze voorsprong tegen Duitsland.
Normally we do get treated to a glut of goals, such as the organization as well as the quality of the two teams. The last meeting, as mentioned before, 5-3 in favor of Germany.
Hener.
And then 2 games in the Olympics. One of the pool stages. The Netherlands ran out 3-1 winners, and the final going 2-1 in favor of Germany.
De Wijn.
Even on that occasion, the only goal from the Dutch had come in from Mink van der Werden. Van der Horst, van der Werden. Man inside
de Wijn.
Right at the top.
Een aanvallende rol en is een mooie schijnbeweging.
The son of the coach. A very fine player himself.
De Wijn en meteen aangepakt. Ja, binnen de 5 meter zone. De scheidsrechter zegt de bal lag nog niet stil. Ik had hem nog niet vrijgegeven. Anders was het beslist een strafcorner geweest. En wat een mooie tip-in. Wat een mooie tip-in van Seffi van As. In de 6e minuut. 2-0 voor Nederland. Eerst consternatie. Bal lag niet strafcorner. Maar de bal lag nog niet goed. En dan wordt hij even teruggelegd. Buiten de 23 meterlijn. Dan mag hij wel in één keer in de cirkel worden gejast. Door Jolie. Wordt hij daar nog eventjes aangeraakt door de Wijn. En het laatste tikje vlak voor de keeper wordt gegeven door Seffi van As. 2-0.
This is a magnificent start, especially as
hoewel dit toernooi niet de allerhoogste prioriteit heeft voor Duitsland, vinden ze dit toch ook niet leuk hoor. Meteen de tegenaanval en de voorzet komt net niet aan van Turk. Hener.
We have mentioned before in this competition that the Germans are coming off the European winter and the indoor season, so not a lot of match practice behind them. And that rustiness, Cedric, has shown in all the games.
Well, yes, they have shown that they are lacking in match practice.
Hofman weggestuurd op snelheid. Hofman.
Because the Netherlands are once again posing.
En een strafcorner voor Nederland. Hofman werd op de stick geraakt.
But in the process gives away a penalty
een enkel protest van de Duitsers bij de Koreaanse scheidsrechters. Tweede strafcorner in de wedstrijd voor Nederland.
Things are not rolling their way at all for the Germans.
Well, the ball was played down the baseline and Matania hits the stick of the
Daar gaat Hofman en die wordt daar al geraakt door Matania. Eventjes een momentje wachten of er geen voordeel uitkomt. En inderdaad, dit is een strafcorner waard.
Protect the ball, protect your feet, do not make stick checks, do not make stick fouls and give away soft fouls and give away soft penalty corners.
Geen Mink van der Werden, wel Jolie, wel Buissant achter de bal. Zou dit een rechtstreeks schot worden? Of eventueel dan toch een variant die Nederland tot nu toe nog niet gespeeld heeft. Oei, verkeerde stop. En nog een verkeerde stop. En dan kan dit zelfs leiden tot een tegenaanval van Duitsland. Waar zit Polkamp dan toch tussen.
Crucial touch coming in the Dutch defense from Oliver Polkamp.
Van As.
Seve Van As once again.
Van As. Versneld. Van As nog altijd.
This one very nicely and yet be forced to come out and just about get his pads away. Marcus Weiser will be a very concerned.
Ja, Marcus Weiser. 3 keer op rij Olympisch kampioen. 1 keer met de vrouwen, 2 keer met de mannen. Ik vind dit toch niet prettig. Ik wil een goede ontwikkeling zien bij zijn ploeg. Het is tot nu toe erg wisselvallig geweest. Zeker de laatste poolwedstrijd van Duitsland tegen India was van Duitse zijde van een abominabel niveau. Ik wil toch echt beter zien dan dit.
They're attacking in good numbers, attacking with a lot of confidence at the moment. That is what it does when you get those 2 goals early on.
Hofman.
In a clash between 2 teams which could be concerned, could be called.
Niet in de buurt van de cirkel. Moet weer terug.
Germany, of course, the top-ranked team in the world, and the Netherlands not far behind at 3.
Duitsers mogen uitverdedigen. Polkamp speelt die bal zelf over de achterlijn.
The Dutch, of course, associated in another sport, football that is, with that term total football. And
Daar achterin missen de Duitsers natuurlijk Maxime Müller.
De
belangrijkste verdediger, aanvoerder ook normaal gesproken.
Opereert
aan de knie, al herstellende. En daar een kans voor Deken, die geraakt wordt door Stockman.
To deny Oscar Deke, because all it needed was a good deflection and that could well have been 2-1.
Well, a great cross ball coming in from the left hand
de backhand voorzet, gemikt op de tip-in daar van Deken.
Ja, Stockman comes out.
Ja, er wordt
resultant,
verdedigd door Jolie. Stockman doet hij niet verkeerd. Die staat er nu eenmaal. Deken valt dan ook nog tegen de paal.
No harm done.
Maar hij loopt weer vrolijk verder.
Will be looked at to try and find some goals this afternoon. Hasn't scored as yet.
Goede paas op snelheid gegeven.
As many as 10 goals.
Zodat Hofman nu kan versnellen.
Hofsky himself has provided 3 of those.
Hener maakt een overtreding. Is hij het zelf niet mee eens. Even hoofdschudden.
Wesley, Fuchs, Hocker, Rabente, Milkau. Captain Korn with 1 goal.
Kan me zijn twijfel wel voorstellen. Hofman had een stik over de bal. En Hener dacht dus aan stik afhouden. Gevaarlijk. Op de hand van Hener. Auw, dat doet zeer.
And just judging from his reaction, you can tell how much it would have smarted.
Veel zeer. Zo kun je zo een vinger breken.
It's a pretty cold evening.
Hij heeft meer pijn dan hij hier laat zien.
Deflection ball in the circle hit Hannah on the hand. Really hard shot.
This was the goal, Cedric.
Well, Ruta Jolie's pass was an absolute blinder.
Ja, zien we ook dat Hener zelf het dekkingsfoutje eerder maakte.
They were not marking properly, which is surprising from a German team, which is the defense is their main strategy.
Bijna geen goal wordt er gemaakt in het internationaal hockey zonder dat er een fout aan vooraf gaat.
Including the game against India
as well. Die moet je ook weer maken.
Mention the fact that they conceded those 2 goals against England.
Best.
The defense has looked a little bit vulnerable, perhaps the weakest link right through these Euro Hockey World League final matches. This time,
iets te moeilijk voor een Milkau.
In sync. Unable to get across to that was 23-year-old Marco Milkau. It is 22nd cap for Germany. But that solitary goal against England.
Well, the leading wasn't strong enough. He ran only a couple of yards. He should run a little bit more to got that ball. Milkau has to understand that when you lead with full power. And not just a semi-run.
Rabente en een stopfoutje. Komt het aan Jonker.
It falls to Dutch possession.
Tot een backhandschot te komen. Jonker
coming in and he's done so well for himself. A little confused in the end that the decision went against him.
Uitleg van Kim.
Brilliant work from
Uitleg wordt alom geaccepteerd.
Jonker running with the ball. Comes into the circle, spins around.
Technische actie, bijna zijn neus op de bal af en toe.
Chance to shoot the ball, but what he's doing is he's shielding the
hier
ball.
zelf ook de stik af naar Rabente.
The German player to tackle, and that's the foul against him.
Bemused expression in the end, but absolutely the right decision from Kim Onglai. Umpire on the far side.
Met veel nonchalance.
Seated.
Meteen naar de kant. Van de Weerde krijgt hij speeltijd voor hem.
Feature of most of the European teams.
En minuten zitten er even op.
Today as well. Van de Weerde with a good long ball.
Backhand.
Almost fell favorably, but it was a very crucial touch from Benjamin West.
Van As
was in a very good position. He might still get into a good position this time around as well. Was looking to try and work that ball through for
tegenwoordig
dus
met een pitje speelt.
Only leads to
en dat toch kennelijk ook in dit toernooi opvallend goed doet. Beter dan in voorgaande toernooien.
Lines it up on the reverse. Kobe diving through to it and somehow scrambles it away.
Toch geen verschil of je er wel of niet één in hebt. Het zit vooral in het hoofd. Strakowski haalt even door op Bakker.
Just a little scrappy there from the Germans. ball quickly over to the right, but a bit too much pace on it. And the Netherlands defense breathes easy after a good spell of pressure.
Normally when you play at this kind of pace, you'll find that there's a lot of turnovers, easy turnovers, and this is one of the hallmarks of playing when the ball speed is so fast. You've got to understand that there are mistakes being made, but with these kind of both teams playing the way they're playing, the turnovers are not as much as they normally should be because of the quality of players that they have.
Netherlands with the better in terms of possession as well as circle penetrations by a fair distance. That will also reflect in the shots, which is equal though. So Germany making the most every time they've got in. They have managed to get a shot into the frame. What they'll need to try and do is match it up with a goal, and if they can find one goal at this stage in this scoreline, then that will make for a very, very fascinating second half for sure. Ideally, they would want to get that one goal in before the half-time break. 15 minutes to go in this match. The second of 4 quarterfinals today. Third match will feature New Zealand against Argentina. That will be played at 5:45 local time. The big match tonight, Australia against home side India at 8 p.m. local time. Netherlands once again moving beautifully down the left. Another man who's been good for them, Bob de Vogt, getting that attack going. Hertzberger inside the D. Gives away a free hit to the Germans.
Well, Hertzberg getting into a tangle there because he had two players, German players on him, Arnold and Mithaus. So basically, the issue was that he couldn't trying to find a foot, but the Germans did very well to put their sticks down and cover their legs.
Germany really do need their experienced players to move up. One of them trying to do that. Oh. Jaap Stockman gets a foot to this one, but it's still been played in. Wobbling about dangerously for the Dutch defense, but they do get a reprieve in the shape of a free hit. And immediately, the counter-attack. It's 2 against 2. He's looking to take them on all by himself. Hoffman goes on the reverse, but an easy save in the end for Jacobi, staying firm on his feet and making sure that he just punched it away.
Well, Roger Hoffman did a great run for about 60-70 yards, got the ball into the D. But the thing was, when you take a reverse hit to that, you must look for the lower angles. A person like a goalkeeper of Jacobi's stature and height, it's very easy for him to palm the ball up when it comes to that height.
He had options there, Hoffman, and that's perhaps a sign of something which we did allude to earlier. There shouldn't be any complacency here from Netherlands. Perhaps not the best choices there from the 27-year-old Hoffman, who has tons of experience. 154th cap for the man who plays for Bloemendaal.
Well, he should have played the ball earlier on to his overlapping person on the right-hand side. It was an easier chance for him, but he went for it himself, went to glory himself, and that was not normally what a Dutch team does.
In fact, when these two teams, their junior teams, met during the Junior Hockey World Cup semi-finals, Germany had raced away to a 3-0 lead, and the Netherlands came right back into it and gave them quite a close finish in the end. Scored 3 goals, brought it down to 3-all. Again, an illusion of what we were seeing. The man going down the right was in a great position.
The early ball was very important to play that. The important thing was he felt that he took a decision, and the decision was wrong as far as I was concerned.
2 men either side of him, Bob de Vogt on the right and Seve van As on the left. They'll be pleased with the way most things have gone in this first half, the Dutchmen, and why can they complain? 2-0 up. Van der Horst, skipper. All the way back to Bolkestein. Back with the 32-year-old. Happy to retain as much possession, dictate the pace of this game. This is a lovely through ball. And just couldn't quite bring it under his control completely, Hertzberger. Anna.
Well, the Dutch, what they did was they had the ball on the 50-yard line. They moved the ball way back into their own defense, pulled the German defense forward, pulled the entire team forward, and then hit a long ball down the line. This was a classic movement of how to exploit space.
I'd be surprised if they do it again, just playing it around in defense, looking for the Germans to come at them. Some good pressure from the Germans, winning possession for themselves, as Bolkestein was the last man with the ball for the Dutch. Zwicker looking to move into a good position. Slightly better spell of play from the Germans. They've been trying to get into good positions, getting those balls into the box, but the Dutch defense is standing firm. On this occasion, some good commitment from De Vogt.
Well, the Germans are now trying to find, going around the defense, they're playing these little triangles in the opposition 25, which is great because that's how you break a defense, and especially a crowded defense. And the last ball from Arnold also, which came inside, Stockman did very well in goal to stop that ball. It was a half chance, but well taken and well saved by Stockman.
This is Bakker once again. I'd imagine he'll be quite pleased with how things have gone, but we'll know that against Germany, you are never far away from a fight back coming through. Korn, the captain. Ball was punted forward looking for Florian Fuchs. Eventually does come through to the youngster. Only able to win a long corner though for his team. Crucial last 9 minutes or so for Germany. Not only do they need to try and get one goal back, but also need to stay stable at the back and watch out for the Dutch counter-attack. Bolkestein. Van der Weerden. Manu's penalty corner started the goal scoring today for Netherlands. The second goal coming from Seve Vanas, a very useful little deflection of long ball which was sent in by Wouter Joly. This time, unable to get across to that ball was the man of the tournament at the last European Championships, Robert Kemperman.
Well, the Germans have to be very careful of the three strikers that the Dutch have. In Hertzberger, in Willy Baker, and Jonker. These are three strikers which have got tremendous speed. And if you look at the game of what India did against Germany, the speed broke the defense. And this is exactly what they're going to be very wary about.
This time around, a good bit of work from Florian Fuchs, almost working his way around the defense. Wins a long corner. Zwicker quickly through to Tobias Hawker. Judging by the way the last few minutes have gone, Netherlands will be quite happy to carry a 2-goal cushion into the half-time break. The question is, will they? Because this was played through and there were a couple of German shirts in there and a deflection came through as well, just not on target.
A nice cross coming inside again. Fuchs and another German player, both on top of the penalty spot. Both missed the ball. One deflected off Fuchs' stick and went across. But a chance missed again. Every chance, every half chance has to be exploited, either a penalty corner or a shot at goal. And also they were done well by keeping both of them not in a straight line. One will move forward, one will move back. So they had two options to pass.
At this level, between teams of this quality, the margins for error are always going to be very, very small. That's why a 2-goal deficit, as well as not being able to capitalize on those half chances which Cedric mentions, could well prove to be fatal flaws if you're looking to advance further in the Hero Hockey World League final. This is the 14th match, effectively, of this competition. We've already had 60 goals. Can we get the 61st? It's smacked in with a lot of power by Strakovski. And because it did bounce up a little bit. It has been given as a penalty corner for Germany.
Well, a great run by Tobias Hawker. He looks for the lead by Stajkovski, who hits a blinder actually, but straight into the body of Stockman, who palms the ball, and a penalty corner from that. What Stockman should have done was palm the ball out of the goal, out of the baseline, and there'd been no penalty corner, it'd been a long corner. But this is again a soft foul and a chance for Germany to get one down, or to get one back.
Yes, Stockman has had a slightly hot and cold tournament. Was a little off color in the first match against Argentina. Put in a great effort against Australia, 1-0 victory, and then was rested for the third match where Piermin Black did the goalkeeping honors. Stajkovski is one of the men at the top, so is Hanna. He's hit it in with power, but the whistle had been blown already.
When they were looking for the inside deflection again, Hanna puts the ball, he commits the first charger, and Oliver Kahn was there for the deflection on the penalty spot, but hit his foot. Again, Oliver Kahn came in slightly early. He should have been on a little more to the left-hand side with the stick angle forward, and that would have been more beneficial for him.
That was the route that they used to score against India, one of their penalty corner conversions in these championships. Immediately now, this is a lovely move from Netherlands. Don't quite get the icing on the cake, and it's largely thanks to Jacobi. Good work from the keeper, because 3-0 at this stage with just about 5 minutes to go for half-time, and Germany would have had quite a mountain to climb. As it is a tough task ahead of them. Still need to defend this. Netherlands coming forward once again with a lot of fluidity about their movements. Vermeulen. Herzberger eventually choosing not to go for a cross, just allowing the ball to go through for the long corner.
Well, he knew that there were a horde of German defenders standing in and marking the D properly. So he didn't want to hit that ball across and lose possession. What he did was he kept the ball with him and tried to play a flick ball back to his defense to hold possession and to change the point of attack.
He hit just outside. Still very much inside the 25-yard area. This has been hit with a lot of power from the reverse, but no deflection along the way. So no problems at all for the German defense.
Well, a cross ball again, but with played in the first bar and no Dutch person, no Dutch striker there to take a shot.
And this was the previous chance where Herzberger was well denied, but good work movement again from the Dutchman.
Great movement by the Dutch. They're showing how to exploit the spaces given by the German defense. German defense not as fast as they normally are, and Nicolas Jacobi did very well in goal to come out and smother that ball.
Those men that you mentioned involved in most of the attacks as they go forward. Paul Godoin and Rick Charlesworth just in the backdrop. Looking forward, I'm sure, eagerly to their clash against the Indians this evening. That will be the last of the quarterfinals, and the winner of that match will face the winner of this particular encounter. This is slipped through. Would still be a shooting opportunity. Does get a shot in as well, and was looking for a deflection. And a man who's broken Dutch hearts in the past. Was in a good position, Rabente.
Well, a scramble in the D, and the ball comes through, hit towards the goal, but a perfect ball for a deflection by Rabente. But Rabente is again found wanting in that department. He should have been lower with the stick down on the line on the ground, and he got that ball. He was standing too upright.
Germany cannot complain for lack of opportunities. They have had some moments, great moments in front of the Dutch goalmouth. Just haven't been able to convert any of those half chances, or to be honest, brought Stockman too much into the play, or had too much to deal with in terms of shots going in towards goal. But has been a lively first half, and those first 7 minutes could come back to haunt the Germans. 2 goals scored inside those first 7 minutes by the Dutch, and that's what separates the two teams as we go into the last 2 minutes of this first half. Of course, it has happened before for Germany against Netherlands, most famously last at the European Championship semi-finals, as well as the last Olympic final that the two teams contested. They look for a similar fight back in the second half. From the Dutch perspective, Cedric, most things they've done well, used the width of the 60 yards quite well.
Definitely, they've also converted their chances in terms of their set plays, in terms of the penalty corner, as well as the long ball driving into the circle. There was a bit of movement by the strikers there and caught the defense, the German defense napping. They're also pressing the ball carrier very well and closing down the spaces. So overall, it's been a very good performance by the Dutch. And I would say it's not a very good performance by the Germans, because they've really shown holes in the defense in this tournament, basically.
One of those defenders, Martin Hahner, gets this ball going through. It was a long pass attempted by Arnold, hit with a lot of power, but straight to the Dutch defense. The Dutch need to see out these last 30 seconds of the first half. Nguyen Luong, one of the men inside the box, once again looking for a deflection, and very close yet again.
Well, a long ball played into the circle, and it was a fantastic run by Milkau. The question was, he had to hit the ball deflect the ball off his stick. The important thing was the lead. The lead was perfect, but the ball was not into his path, and the ball went for a free hit for Netherlands.
Looking up at the giant screen, because that's where the clock is, as well as Marcus Pfizer. There will be some words of wisdom to his wards. Try and change things around in the first half, the second half rather, because the first 35 minutes have belonged to the Dutchmen. It was a fine start from them. As early as the very first minute, they got a penalty corner, and from what followed, Mink van der Burden drilled in a shot which took a couple of deflections along and gave Nico Jacobi absolutely no chance. And the second goal was a perfect goal poacher strike. Seve Fanas just near the goal mouth, and Wouter Yoli sending in a ball and just deflecting it into the goal. But Germany have had their chances, and late in that first half could have been an opening goal for Jan-Philipp Rabente, but just couldn't get down and get a stick across to a pass coming through from Pilt Arnold. So by and large, it's been a story of two pretty well organized defenses, but Netherlands a little bit more than Germany, who will have to sort things better and come out firing in the second half. After the first 35 minutes, it's Germany 0, Netherlands 2. They were quick off the blocks for the Dutchmen, and that's why they have a 2-0 lead against Germany in the second quarterfinal of the Hero Hockey World League final. Quick reminder, we are on Facebook at FI Hockey and on Twitter at FIH_hockey, where you can send in your tweets with the hashtag HHWL. That's the Hero Hockey World League. These, of course, are the final matches. Well, started quite brightly for the Dutchmen on a gloomy afternoon. Mink van der Woerden with the shot, which took a deflection, and that's what took the sting of that shot and just threw off Nico Jacobi completely. He didn't judge the pace of that, bounced over him, and there was nothing much as that ball just wobbled its way through to the net. And then the second goal not long after. Wouter Jolly sending in a ball, hopeful ball, but beautifully deflected onto the goal by Seve van As, getting his second goal of these finals matches. After that, the Dutch came out firing. There were still more opportunities created. Hoffman here had 3 options actually alongside him. There was Klaas Vermeulen as well, in addition to Jonker, as well as the number 19, De Vogt. And Germany had some bright moments of their own, but just couldn't quite finish them off in this particular half. Well, I would imagine Paul van As will be quite a happy coach after the first 35 minutes. Let's get his thoughts. Michael Absalom is down with him.
Penalty corner inside the first 15 seconds of the game, Paul. You must be very chuffed with the way the things went in the first half.
Yes, absolutely. We started very well. It can't be quicker, so that was nice. That was good. But the game didn't have a rhythm yet. So after that, the rhythm came, and I was happy also with the second goal. And for us now, it's too important not to stay loose and be connected and know that with one goal against, the whole game is open again. So you have to really stay in it.
It's a showdown, an Olympic showdown. Last time we met was back in London in 2012. Are those the sort of things that stay with the players and stay with you as a coach? Those sort of the memories of the Olympic Games and the Euros, for instance?
Yeah, absolutely. Germany is always tough to beat in finals, and so that's always close and tough matches. And therefore this is an important game as well, because both teams want to go to the semi-finals now. So it isn't ready, it isn't over yet. I'm not very at ease. Give me 35 minutes and then I can tell you. But so I think there still will be a fight on the pitch. But yes, there's always close games, and in the end, obviously fun to play.
Okay, well, good luck in the second half and go and get some more goals.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Mike, and thank you, Paul. It is one of the traditional rivalries in this sport. Both Germany and Netherlands are bitter rivals each time they take each other on the sporting pitch. Just a quick reminder of how Netherlands got through to the stage. They lost out to Argentina in their opening match 5-2. Got a good hard-fought victory over Australia, which to a great extent has contributed to themselves finishing in the 3rd position. There was also a draw against Belgium along the way. Their opponents, Germany, incidentally, finished 2nd in their pool. That was Pool A, and started in spanking fashion, 6-1 against New Zealand. Then were held to a 3-all draw, but between that there was that 2-1 defeat at the hands of England, and followed it up with that thrilling 3-all draw. So identical results thus far, but one of these two teams is going to get a second victory in these Hero Hockey World League finals. Will it happen in the 70 minutes? If the scores remain level, then just to remind that there will be a shootout as well. We thought we might get a shootout in England versus Belgium, but George Pinner, in particular, in goal for England, had other ideas. He was outstanding. And will the keepers this time around be called into action? Nico Jacobi has already been breached 2 times in his defense. Much to the chagrin of my co-commentator, Cedric D'Souza, who really does like Nico as a keeper as well. And Cedric just improved. You would expect an improved showing now from the Germans.
Definitely, they must have a talk in the dressing room and come back firing in all cylinders. I think they'll try and break the Dutch lines and break the rhythm of the Dutch as much as possible. They would tighten up the defense because they wouldn't want another goal down against them. But I think they would try and break the lines of defense, which is of the Dutch defense, which would be critical for them.
Poised over the ball, Strakowski just waiting for the clock to go over to 0-0. There is a countdown which goes in reverse from 10 minutes as soon as the first half comes to an end. There's just about 6 or 5 seconds left on that. as they are looking to make sure that the second half gets underway. It's the Germans in black who push things back. They are trailing by 2-0 in the second quarterfinal, and up against them in orange, going from left to right, are the Netherlands, looking for some atonement not only for the finals of the last European Championships, but also the 2012 London Olympics, as well as the semi-finals played here not so long ago between the junior teams of these two sides in the Junior World Cup. Thus far, they're doing a mighty good job of it, but expect Germany to come out all guns blazing now in these next 35. Tobias Hocker, one of those players who can inspire a revival of sorts for the team. Through on to Benjamin West, who sends a ball in, but harmlessly goes through.
Well, the Germans pushing up more people into attack now. If you look at the first couple of minutes that have happened so far, in the first minute, in fact, the Germans have pushed 3 people into the circle while they hold possession and rotate the ball in the 50-yard line, looking for the long ball inside and looking for the deflection balls. This is probably what they're going to do, to push the Dutch defense back into the baseline and create the spaces in the midfield to exploit.
I'm sure Marcus Weiser would have pointed out to his team that they had their moments in that first half, especially later on in the first half. A couple of times when Strakowski got into good positions, as well as Martin Zwicker. And late in the half, when Rabente was looking for a deflection. So they had those chances which, if they had put them away, would have been a different scoreline. But as things stand, they now need to defend. This has gone through. It's taken a couple of favorable bounces and touches on, and Bob de Vogt with the final attempt. Not way off the mark.
Well, a half chance again. The ball comes in through to the defense. Played by Hertzberger towards Billy Barker. Billy Barker gets the ball, deflects it actually for Bob Burgert, and he hits this ball, but he hits the ball wide. It would have been better for him to push the ball back to Billy Barker, who was in better position.
This time it's Hertzberger. Oh! Jacobi took the early decision to come out and close down the angle. It was a delightful through pass as well from de Vogt.
Well, de Vogt puts this ball right through, and Hertzberger comes inside. And what Jacobi did was he came out. Jacobi should have been standing. He threw his body, because if the ball was in the post, it would have gone in the goal. He should have made himself bigger in the goal instead of lying down and logging.
Action at the other end. It was slapped through with a lot of power. And the deflection finally coming off Mink van der Woorden. This second half has expected. Set off at an both teams. Netherlands very close to going 3-0 up. It would have provided quite a task for the Germans. But here come the Olympic champions. They're doing well. This is a terrific run. And it's a good finish as well. The last touch coming in from Oliver Kahn. But it was, all in all, a terrific team goal from the Germans. They have found 1 goal back. And that's why Paul van As has a slightly more concerned expression.
Well, Fuchs did brilliantly well to come down the line, come onto the baseline. He looks for the ball back, the minus pass. He gives a perfect pass for Arnold to push the ball into the goal. The important thing in this whole movement was Strakowski moving away and creating the gap for Fuchs. That was a brilliant movement by Strakowski, who makes this movement, pulls the defender away, and Fuchs gets the space and passes the ball to Arnold to just slip it home.
So a second goal for the captain in the 39th minute now means that Germany have pulled 1 back and are trailing by just that 1 goal. And it could be just a matter of time before they find that one. Rabente this time had great vision in that ball through, but Florian Fuchs was just a little slow to react and get around the defense. Nevertheless, this is a lively, good start which will please Marcus Weiser a lot.
Well, it would please Marcus Weiser a lot, and it make Paul van As really upset about it, because he just talked about it at half-time, didn't want to give a goal which could open up the entire game. He wanted to keep the rhythm of this team and be connected as much as possible, and not, basic thing was not to allow spaces.
This is another good ball, and he found Milkau in a good position. He was looking to cut it back in, but Florian Fuchs making a good run. So Germany taking the box as well, and if only Hertzberger had converted that chance which he got early on in the second half, would have been 3-0 at that stage. So it tells you that in quality matches, this one has caught Mink van der Woorden. Not intended, of course, from the skipper, or rather from Rabente. In matches between teams with so much of talent and so much of quality, the odd missed chance can come back to haunt you. Germany are not out of this by a long, long way. Stick check goes against Bob de Vogt. Just a little bit of infringement on Hanna. Zwicker all the way back to Tobias Hawker. On the goal scorer. Beautifully received by Zwicker. Oh, almost slipped through. That was Tobias Matania with great vision, and he has won a penalty corner for his team. And this is a chance now for Germany to try and get that equalizer.
Well, Matania does very well because he gets his ball and he quickly, without even looking up, puts the ball into the foot of Raul van der Horst and a penalty corner for Germany. But the important thing was his presence of mind in the circle. He realized that van der Horst was closing him down with his foot exposed, and he quickly put onto the foot. This is what is class hockey. This is what makes a great striker.
This is overall in the Hero Hockey World League, but today they've looked for variations on both occasions. Martin Hanna on screen is normally the first choice, but what he looks to do is try and work it towards either one of the postmen. Let's see if they'll go in for a direct attempt this time around. He has got Tobias Matania for company. Matania with a stroke, and indeed looking to sweep that one in with a lot of power, almost finding Benedict Vogt. The Dutch defense doing well. Now another infringement, very, very close to the D. The pressure continuing from Germany. Linus Butt has almost given possession away, and the Dutchmen were licking their lips in anticipation of a counter-attack. They will get it now, though. Bob de Vogt going forward. He has Billy Barker for company, looking to slip it through for Barker. And an infringement and a stick check leads to a green card for one of the Germans who was looking to tread back. Can Netherlands take advantage of the temporary man advantage that they have? Was hit in with a lot of power by Sander Bart, but not enough accuracy on it. Just a quick confirmation of the card. Tobias Hawker.
Well, Tobias Hawker is a mainstay of the German team. He's a center midfielder with a lot of class, and if you look, so he just shoves. He gives a shove into Bob, and that's a complete green card and for Tobias Hawker. But basically, you're not supposed to use your shoulder, not supposed to use your hand while going for a tackle.
Right in front of Murray Grime too. This is a chance for Netherlands to just settle down. The last few minutes have been all Germany. The second half, after it started on a bright note for the Dutchmen, has then seen a number of useful counter-attacks from Germany. Now this is a chance for the Dutchman. He's off his line as Jacobi. Could be a shooting opportunity. Couple of defenders eventually scrambling and getting it away. The last touch, I thought, came off Linus Butt. The anxious moments continue for the German defense. That has been their Achilles heel right through these Hero Hockey World League finals. Germany, of course, winning round 3. That was in Johor Bahru, the semi-finals, beating Argentina in the final of that particular competition. Netherlands, though they weren't able to finish off and win the semi-final competition that they hosted in Rotterdam, still did enough to qualify for these last 8 the final stages, top 8 teams. One of those teams, the home side, India, has been worked through beautifully. Sander Bart does well to retain possession. On to Fanas. Jonker. Seems a good player. And they've combined well.
Well, apart from combining well, they get They commit Jacobi out of the goal, and he's come out too far. And luckily for them, Linus Butt comes into the goal and covers up. The good thing about Germany was there was a cover defense when Jacobi came out, and from that resultant thing, there was no goal for Netherlands.
And having done all the hard work, got that one goal back, Germany don't want to concede at this stage. If anything, they wouldn't mind this scoreline staying the same way, provided they can come up with most of the pressure. Oh, that's a good, very good steal from Sandergaard. He's going for it all by himself, laying it up for the man running behind him. It is Seve Fanas who's found his way across, but impeding the progress of the Germans in the process. A free hit taken very quickly. Strakowski almost immediately sets it up. Quick look at that replay once again.
Fanas gets into the circle, and he covers the ball with his body, and it's a foul against him.
Action at the other end. Oscar Dieker with some good scrapping of his own, winning possession for his team in what can be a useful spot, not too far away from the Dutch goal. Germany seeking that equalizer with just about 24 minutes to go. This will be a good time to score. Florian Fuchs knows as well, looking to line up for the shot. Some good covering defending though by Marcel Bolkestein.
When Fuchs goes down, cuts the angle up actually to a narrow angle, and Bolkestein does very well with a jab tackle and puts the ball out of danger. And it was a wild swing by Fuchs, and that was a foul against him.
Yes, had to stay low, had to stay brave, and that's exactly what Bolkestein did on that occasion. And getting his 95th cap. The numbers very, very close on both counts, possession as well as circle penetrations. And Germany with more shots tells you that they have looked to be a lot more positive, especially coming into the second half. You expect nothing less than the world number one.
Well, they are not basically the world champions for nothing. They are the world Olympic champions and world champions. So they will come firing at all cylinders. They will come at your throat when they're down. And the halftime talk must have really worked, because they got a goal back, and they're putting a lot of pressure on the Dutch now.
From the Netherlands' perspective, the second half has been a lot more difficult than the first was. Of course, they got those two early goals, one must not forget. Sometimes it is perhaps the best time to score early on in the match, and the other team hasn't quite settled down, and that was in evidence perhaps today. That's a beautiful interception from Hawker. On through to Oliver Kahn, on the reverse. Looking for Strakowski, but first to it is Sandergaard. Through on to Paul Camp. Slipping this one through, looking once again for Bart on the run, as well as Jonker.
Well, he could have done better by just switching the game around, playing the ball back to Hertzberger. Hertzberger was standing behind him, and then bringing the ball from the left-hand side to the strong side on the right-hand side, and then trying to find the ball down the lines.
Some familiar faces there. Men who have played in India colours in recent years, as well as Jagbir Singh. The HIL not too long away. My co-commentator will be in charge of one of the teams, and I imagine there must be a little bit of mind space going in towards the preparation for the Delhi Wave Riders, I'm sure.
Well, definitely we've been thinking about it, talking about it, but that's another time we talk about it, and not now.
Is here on Hertzberger. Florian Fuchs. He has some support inside the box, chooses to go all the way back. On was looking for a slap through into the D, but an easy interception for Vermeulen. And now he sets up this long ball. Jonker does well to get through to it. Now Jonker doesn't have too many options. Linus Butt chooses to send it out. So well played by the youngster, making sure that he retains possession for his team. Vermeulen. Still no orange shirts inside the D, only Hertzberger just at the edge of it. Jonker now making his way through. A little bit of physical fatigue coming into the play now, Cedric, looking from especially the way the Dutch are going.
Well, both teams are showing a bit of fatigue because, you know, if you look at the last play also by Oliver Kahn, he couldn't get back after he gave a turnover. It's sapping, energy is being sapped because both teams are putting full hilt and they're playing up, basically playing from one D to the other D. So there's a lot of energy being exhausted there.
This time around, Bolkestein unable to put the skids on time, and that's why the possession given away to the Germans, but promptly obliging their opponents by giving possession right back, and another unforced turnover. Carlos Retehui on the left. His Argentina will be in action next against New Zealand. That match is just a little over an hour away. 5:45 local time. Argentina have in many respects been the surprise packages, even though they did lose their last game convincingly against the Australians by a 6-1 margin. Two well-deserved victories against the team that's out there in the middle at the moment, Netherlands and Belgium. This was well done. That was good work from Jacobi. Could so easily have gone wrong.
Well, he punched the ball. He could have punched the ball and kicked it out, you know, to safety. But what he does is he just pads it, looks up, and plays the ball to his player. It was absolute coolness in the circle and great goalkeeping.
Unsurprisingly, coming from Germany as he does, must have played a fair amount of football as well. Showed a pretty educated right foot. Milkau all the way back to Arnold. This is Hawker looking to switch flanks, but again a lapse in concentration from the Germans. The Argentines are watching with eagle eye, also looking for themselves out in the giant screen. This game heading towards what could be a close climax. 18 minutes to go. Germany trailing by just 1 goal. It's 2-1 in favor of Netherlands, but as we've seen repeatedly, not only in this game, but also in the Hero Hockey World League, 1 goal is not quite enough. Card for Nguyen Luong.
But he's fortunate enough to get a yellow card in that because he's actually blocked the player completely with his body while the player was running in full tilt.
Exactly the halfway mark of the second half. Germany have by far looked the more impressive team in these 35 minutes. They've got to try and sustain it and convert it into a second goal at the very least. How will Holland play it from here on? This is a beautiful through ball, and it's been beautifully picked up as well. Hoffman. Couple of touches taking him past the first 2 players alongside him, but in the end, a good touch in defense as well. Sent in once again, and another crucial touch coming in from Pitt Arnold. Confirmation of the green card for Dan Nguyen Luong.
In that last play, the touch by Arnold and by Hawker was absolutely brilliant. You know, otherwise there was an opportunity for a shot at goal.
Fair to say, the margin for error is absolutely nil for the German defense, trailing as they do by 1-2. If anything, what they've got to try and do is not allow Netherlands these spaces to work with and get the ball into their own side of the pitch. Würzburger this time with a run moving forward, still with possession in the shape of a free hit. Looks up for options, chooses to take on the defenders himself, goes out for a long corner. The stick of Linus Butt. Identical scoreline from the Olympic final, only this time it's the Netherlands who are leading, but I suppose nothing can avenge an Olympic final loss really, but it will, if it comes through, still be somewhat of a balm over the pain, I'm sure. Now this time going for the reverse, and well done by Jacobi yet again.
The reverse hit taken into the goal, and Jacobi does well to pat that ball over and pat it to safety. A good save and clear.
Immediately it's the Germans on the attack, and it's a good attack too. The Dutch defender losing his stick inside the D, and luckily for him, the ball not coming in. Otherwise, Oscar Dieker would have been rather unmarked. But the pace of the game has picked up the last few minutes. This was the last chance.
Well, a hit at goal, and if you look at it, there was a German defender also standing at the pads of Jacobi in case the ball is halted there and there was a rebound. He would have been closing that rebound very fast. The main thing was Jacobi's angles. Perfect angle marking and a good save and clear.
Two men bearing down on that ball. Had the rebound fallen for them, both Sander Devine as well as Hertzberger were not too far away from that ball. Bob de Vogt was the man who had attempted the initial shot to begin with. Terry Walsh will be up against his former teammate and his good mate Rick Charlesworth, the two coaches of the respective teams for the last fourth and final quarter-final today. The winners of that match will go on to meet the winners of this game. At the moment, it does look like Netherlands, but it could change in the blink of an eye. That's why, as Michael Absalom might say, don't step away from your TV sets or from your computer screens, because there's still some hockey to be played, ladies and gentlemen. Martin Hanna all the way back to defense. Ravente with a good long ball. Dieker took a touch, but just couldn't bring it under his control. Some furious notes from V. Bhaskaran, because the winners of this match could be potential semi-final opponents, and indeed the team which loses could also be potential opponents in the next round, which will be a classification game.
Definitely, and every coach has his own ploy, in terms of what to look, the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, and then keep it ready for the main head coach to sit down and talk with him and plan accordingly.
They scored very early on in the second half with the Germans, the 4th minute, but since then it's been a bit more disciplined, and it's also been quite good attacking play from the Dutchmen, showing the flair that they're known for. Those two goals, one gets the feeling, inside those first 7 minutes in the match, could well prove to be decisive. With the Germans, never say never. That's what Paul Fanas also told us during the halftime chat. And he would know better, having suffered that reverse at the hands of the Germans in both the final of the Olympics as well as the European Championship, the last one in 2013 in Belgium. The Belgians eventually losing to Germany in the final as well. Van der Horst with a good ball, and it's been well received too. Keeping it in play? No, he doesn't quite. Constantine Jonker has been a very, very good hard-working player for the Dutchmen today. But looking to take on the Dutchman himself, and that might just leave them a little vulnerable at the back. Free hit which has been very quickly taken. This is Hoffman pushing away to the left side. Will he line this up for a shot himself? Indeed he does in the end, and that's again Cedric, not quite the best of decisions.
Well, Roger Hoffman takes the ball and goes down all the way down, but again he gets the ball on the reverse side. It was actually channeled very well by the German defense, and he should have spun off to the right hand side and taken a shot from there. The left hand side, cut off the angle, far too deep, and hit across outside the goal.
This is Martin Hanna for the Germans. They've got 3 or 4 men now getting into the box. Some good pressure coming in. In the end, though, unable to do enough with that and deemed to have fouled. Almost clattering straight into, in fact, does take down the umpire as well. Had to be very agile to stay on his feet, Kim Hong Lai. Occupational hazards. So Netherlands with just a little over 10 minutes now to look to try and survive this onslaught from the Germans. And they will have avenged somewhat that Olympic defeat, as also the defeat in the European Championship.
Nice array of passes with the Germans among themselves, looking for a through ball from Benjamin West, but he's got a flat stick of Robert van der Horst, and the ball picked up by them. The important thing is they're trying to switch the game, they're trying to move the ball around, use the width of the pitch.
Once again, Germany coming forward in good numbers and winning possession and a free hit in a useful position for themselves. Switching it through to the right where there's acres of space. Need to exploit all of it, every inch of it. Sent in, the first touch is a good one, and a follow-up shot too. Straight onto the feet of Stockman.
Montagno does well to take that half a chance, and Stockman was standing well on his angles, and the ball went straight into his pads.
Mink van der Weerden, who's not had too much to do in this match apart from opening the scoring inside the second minute. And he's that kind of an impact player, isn't he? His coach does like to use him in short spells, even though he is a defender. He's the top scorer in the 2012 Olympics, the overall campaign, with 8 goals, and always does come up with the right goods in terms of those penalty corners. That's where Netherlands have definitely outsmarted Germans tonight. Germany not being able to convert from their penalty corner chances. The only goal has been a field goal thus far. Can they find a second? This is looking good from them. Does well to keep it inside the baseline, and the pass wasn't a bad one at all for Nguyen Luong, but the Dutch defense doing well. Could be a card. It is a yellow as well for one of the German forwards coming forward. Tobias Hawker.
Well, basically what's happened is that he's pushed him again. This is the second foul of the same infringement, so the second green card means a yellow card.
They'll be made to pay for this, because that means that for the majority of these last 8 minutes he'll not be there. And this is a penalty corner earned by the Netherlands. Are Germany going to contest this? They have a chance. They still have that that referral in hand, and looks like they will go for it.
Okay, you got 26. Just wait for the hand to go down, okay?
The referral hasn't happened, and that means that this is an opportunity now for Netherlands to pull ahead 3-1. Will that be enough? Tobias Hawker is out for the moment and still has about 3 minutes on his suspension to sit out. It's Van der Weerden, and it's been initially saved by Jacobi. Almost fell favorably for Bob de Vogt, but the defense doing enough to sweep that ball away.
Well, Mink picks his ball through and hard. Jacobi does well to fall to get his feet on the way, but the important thing was the ball was lying loose for a rebound, and the German defender took it out very well and cleared it to safety.
Well done by Pilt Arnold, and that has just given them a bit of a lifeline, because it's still only 1-2 against them, but with 6 minutes to go. And in spite of the absence of Tobias Hawker, one would imagine now the Netherlands will fall back and defend in good numbers. Linus Butt. This was slipped through and almost got a touch on. Not much that the Dutch defenders knew about that. There's also been a card given out to Mink van der Weerden in the meantime, so it is pretty much 10 against 10 for the next 2 minutes. Glorious game of ups and downs. Which team will establish what can be called the last laugh, or will there be a last laugh at all inside these 70 minutes? Remember, if Germany do get an equalizer and it stays that way, then we go through to the penalty, the shootout rather. Not too dissimilar from a penalty, but the only difference being that it's a one-on-one situation, and Marcus Weiser knows that his team is so close. But they need that goal as early as possible. Sandergaard sends this through. He's done well to hold it up, but eventually the tomahawk, attempted tomahawk, going wayward from Jonker.
A mean deflection coming to the circle. Jonker gets the ball into his reverse and it's a hurried shot over the goal. Important thing for him was not to be hurried. He got to move the ball a couple of feet forward and then taking a shot because he was not being pressed by any German defender.
And it's a green card for the captain, Van der Horst. Puts Netherlands under pressure. Oh, he's worked his way through and he has won a penalty corner for himself. Is this the opening that Germany needed? Are Netherlands going to refer this? It does look like that could be the case.
The stick power in front corner, okay? Maybe here. Do you want a video? Okay? Okay. What's the question? He said it's stick tackle. Yes. He said it is no stick tackle from the guy. Okay. Video? Yeah. Yeah, Holland player is totally inside. I think the stick power. And the pass in front of.
Okay, I'll look for the stick tackle in the DLI, the Dutch defenders.
Yes. Check please.
So looking here for a stick tackle from the Dutch defense. What do you reckon, Cedric?
I think there was a stick tackle by Van Aas on a penalty corner for Germany.
It was a very quick decision as well, it must be said, from Kim Hong Lai.
Okay, Hong Lai, I have it here for you. There is no reason to change your decision. It is a penalty corner to Germany. Dutch lose their referral.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
So the decision stands, and that means that Germany have this opportunity of getting their second with less than 4 minutes on the clock. It will really push this match through to a grandstand finish. How much of that will have to do with this man's absence? Van der Horst has been very solid right through this competition in defense for the Dutchman. But all that's in the background now. They've not been very good with their penalty corner conversions, at least tonight. And that continues. A little bit of a bobble, not trapped cleanly by Korn. Still with German possession though. This is swept across, well defended. Just getting a stick across to it was Hertzberger. This was the penalty corner.
The complete fluff by Oliver Kahn for the penalty corner, the halting. But from the resultant ball, the ball was still bobbing around in the circle. The Germans tried to put the ball across the circle, but Hertzberger did very well to deflect the ball out.
This has been picked up in defense. Time running out for the Germans. Some anxious moments. Will they be tempted to take their goalkeeper off perhaps and look to get as many outfield players as possible?
And that's a ploy they could use, but it's up to the coach whether he wants to do that or not. At the moment, he should try that because that's the only chance of getting another goal back and one more forward in the attacking line.
Martin Hanna. It must be mentioned that penalty corner conversions today have been rather poor. Tobias Hawker back on the pitch. And Mink van der Woerden will also make his way across. Oh, this time the deflection finds its way in. But the Dutch have immediately referred it. The Germans, their body language doesn't seem to suggest they believe that this is a goal. Let's see.
Hi, Hong-Lei, I can hear you.
Yes, now it's a free touch.
He's using his referral, okay?
Yes, my repair. Okay, now it's Germany player is pushing the ball in north.
Hi, Hong-Lei, you're asking if the German player made a push?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will have a look for the attacker pushing.
No, that looks absolutely clean. That looks absolutely fine. So it is high drama here in New Delhi. Doesn't seem to be any touch on Strakovski. If anything, was moving away from the defenders. Could well be his 4th goal and could be his most important yet, but all depends on how Andrew Kennedy reads this.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be anything in it. Another look. Cedric, what do you reckon?
There was no push in the player, if that's what the umpire is asking for a referral. But a clean shotted goal, clean goal.
Hey. Hey. Foot out. I can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I saw the time.
A few amused expressions around, but one thing's for sure. Netherlands won't find it funny.
Yeah, look, we can't do anything. It's a referral, you know. We've just got to wait.
Just to confirm that this was Kim Hong-Lei's referral himself. No visible evidence of any touch, it must be mentioned, but this is only from our angle and it's only from technology.
Okay, Hong-Lei, I have a decision for you. The German player did push the Dutch defender in the back, so it should be a free hit to the defence. Free hit to the defence.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's not been given, so Andrew Kennedy concurring with Kim Hong-Lei. It must be said that his original decision, he did seem to be pointing towards the goal, but almost immediately went for, he had his doubts, and that's why he went for the referral, Cedric.
Well, that's what the referrals are all about today, that you can have another opportunity to check whether the ball was in the goal or whether there's a foul. But that's a good thing, but the FIH is done with the referral system.
Big moment wasn't that? Because had Germany pulled that one back, then you get the impression there wouldn't have been enough time. As it stands with less than 2 minutes, there's probably just about enough time for a goal, but which team will be wearing what color when they score that? Linus Butt needs to get this ball away as quickly as possible. Germany must spend as much of these last 80 seconds in their opponent half as possible. Is it going to be sweet revenge for Netherlands? They will have waited a long time for this. And they are so close, just about a minute away now from sealing up a place in the semi-finals here in the Hero Hockey World League final in New Delhi. Long ball, but will not make its way across to Billy Barker. It must be said though, Cedric, it's been a good team effort from Netherlands. Not been at their fluent best, especially in the second half, but they've hung in there well.
Yes, definitely hung in there. The important thing is that you see in this game for all around, for everybody who's watching this match, is the Germans coming out much stronger in the second half and playing some good hockey, missing a couple of chances. But overall, I think a good game of hockey for both teams.
And that last mistake by Hana, probably an indication of just the physical and mental wariness which is coming into the German ranks. The last 20 seconds, can they make something of this? Hawker cannot find Arnold. It's probably done and dusted. Well, Marcus Weiss is definitely taking off his earphones. And for Paul Farnas, it will overturn a few unpleasant memories in recent years. And finally, Netherlands do what they needed to do in London back in 2012, but better late than never. Those 2 early goals, that's what set Germany back by such a long way. 1 penalty corner conversion, a couple of deflections along the way, which gave Nico Jacobi no chance. One from Link van der Woerden, and then a beautiful field goal which was executed by the coach's son, Seve Farnas, and Paul Farnas was quite pleased after that. Familiar foes, the 2 coaches as well as the 2 teams. Germany fought back magnificently in the second half. They had that goal inside the 4th minute in the second half when a beautiful little deflection came in from Pilt Arnold. And at that stage, it looked like it could be anybody's game. And late in the match, Thilo Stralovski had a close call, which was overturned after the advice of technology, leading to this final scoreline here at Major Dhyanchand Stadium. Germany 1, Netherlands 2. This will mean that Netherlands are the 2nd team to book their place in the semi-finals. England already making their way through to the last 4 of the Hero Hockey World League. And some disappointed faces amongst the German ranks. But they are the reigning Olympic champions. They are the reigning European hockey champions. And will be a strong force to reckon with, I'm sure, at the 2014 World Cup, which incidentally will be hosted by the team in orange. The Hague will be the venue for the World Cup back in late May. That is going to be something to look forward to. The best teams, the best 12 teams in the world coming together for an absolute feast of hockey. 3 goals in today's match. The first one, that's scrappy effort from Mink van der Woerden. Cannot overemphasize the impact of the couple of deflections. The first one just taking the sting of it, coming off the stick of the man advancing, Oliver Kahn, and just throwing Nico Jacobi completely off balance. This was a beautiful goal though. Wouter Jolly with a hopeful ball and a beautiful last touch from Seve Farnas, giving no chance to the German goalkeeper. Good awareness, knew exactly where he was and what he needed to do. And he has been a magnificent young player for his team, just 21 years of age and quite an impressive player. Now this was the equalizer. Oliver Kahn just making sure he hung in there in spite of some close attentions, but good work from Florian Fuchs. Worked it back, all the way back, and turned it through. And this was late in that second half. Stralovski getting the ball in, but overturned as a result of the opinion of the umpire as well as his video compatriot. The numbers for the 2 teams showing that Germany had definitely a better second half. More shots. They made the more of their circle penetrations. 12 shots from 17. Netherlands with 10 out of 19. And the crucial factor right at the end, the number of penalty corners converted. Possession was more with Germany, but they couldn't quite make the most of it. So some congratulations and congratulatory mode in the Dutchman. And we are just about ready for the Hero Man of the Match presentation. Let's go down to the side of the pitch where Michael Absalom is waiting for us.
Yeah, thanks very much. Welcome along to the Hero Man of the Match presentation. Alongside me is Jason McCracken, who is from the FIH and is the tournament director. And also with us from the Netherlands, today's Man of the Match. Please welcome Constantijn Jonker. Well done. You've got this lovely medal here, your Man of the Match hockey stick, well done, and 25,000 rupees coming your way as well. A few beers in the bar maybe later at the end of the tournament, but a great result for you and the team today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Obviously it was a very tough match for us, and we were quite lucky that Stalkowski scored the last goal with his foot, and we're very happy with the result.
Yeah, there was a little push in the back there as well. I think that's why the goal was disallowed at the end, but a perfect start for you. 2 goals in 7 minutes.
Yeah, obviously it was a perfect start, what we were looking for. Fantastic.
They came back out at you in the second half, though, didn't they? Getting one back in the second half, Germany.
Yeah, they scored the 2-1 after 5 minutes, so we knew the second half would be very tough, but in the end we did it very good.
So Australia or India, will you be watching that game with eyes wide open? Any preferences as to who you take on in the semi-finals?
No, not really. We already played Australia, obviously a very good team, but we also played India in the practice match, so we'll see.
Okay, well, good luck for the remainder of the tournament. Enjoy tomorrow's day off, and we'll see you here for the semi-finals.
We will, thank you.
Yes, Constantine Jonker was a very, very energetic player right through. And that's what made the difference in the end. Netherlands putting in a good effort to win the second quarterfinal of the 4 quarterfinals to be played today. This is how things have panned out. The first match, England putting one across Belgium by a 1-0 scoreline. The goal scorer was Tom Carson from a penalty corner, and an outstanding display of goalkeeping from George Pinner. The second match, Netherlands pulling away to a 2-0 lead, and Germany coming back, getting 1 goal back. We thought they might have got a second goal back, but it was overturned by the officials because of a push, just a slight push in the back. So Germany with a valiant fight back in the second half, but not enough to overturn the Netherlands. Netherlands going through 2-1. Argentina will take on New Zealand in a short while from now. Just about a little over 30 minutes at 5:45 local time. And that should be an interesting and intriguing clash to look forward to. And the big set-piece match for today is the one at 8 p.m. when Australia take on India. The winner of that match will go on and meet the Netherlands in the semi-finals of the Hero Hockey World League. So it's going to be an exciting evening still to come. Do join us for the remaining games.